Friends from media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Now the floor is open for questions.
现发言人总台央视记者提问。据报道，日本首相官邸。
It is reported that the remarks by a senior official from the Japanese Prime Minister's office that Japan should have nuclear weapons have shocked many and outside Japan. This has been met with criticism from Japan, including parties, civil groups, as well as strong opposition from neighboring countries. A former Japanese political dignitary said possessing nuclear weapons would never be beneficial. A member of the Diet said that appointing such a person as a senior official is in itself inappropriate. Many media outlets believe that those remarks are unacceptable. Yesterday, Prime Minister Takaichi once again floated the idea of moving forward discussions on revising security documents, was China's comment. We noted that the reports and the statements of protest and petitions from civil groups across Japan. It is by no means that an isolated case that a senior official from the Japanese Prime Minister's office made such remarks. In recent years, Japan has removed the ban on exercising the right to collective self-defense, developed intermediate-range offensive weapons, enhanced military deployment, changed the command systems, and widened self-defense forces' scope of activities. This amounts to a severe violation of provisions and instruments with legal effect under international law, including the Cairo Declaration and the Potsdam Proclamation, and of its own constitution. Only 2 months into office, she has accelerated military buildup, achieved the defense spending target of 2% of GDP 2 years earlier, further relaxed restrictions on arms exports, moved forward the revision on 3 documents on security and defense, including national security strategy, discussed the revision on the 3 non-nuclear principles, and implied the introduction of nuclear-powered submarines. Prime Minister Takaichi's erroneous remarks on Taiwan and following false narratives by an official close to her are yet another challenge to the bottom line of the international community that lays bare Prime Minister Takaichi and Japanese right-wing forces' consistent erroneous position and ambition to keep remilitarizing Japan, and sends an extremely dangerous signal. These moves challenge the post-war international order, damages and threatens regional peace and stability, and are not in the interests of the Japanese people. China will work with all peace-loving countries to make a joint response and firmly prevent the resurgence of Japanese militarism. Next one, please. One, please.
A question from AFP.
法新社，美国贸易代表在调查结果中称中国企图主导半导体产业，这是不合理的要求。美国拟自2027年起对中国半导体产品征收关税。Could you please repeat your question? 美国贸易代表调查结果称，中国实行了不公平的措施，企图主导半导体产业。美国拟自2027年起对中国半导体产业征收关税，中方对此有何评论？
China firmly opposes the sweeping tariffs of the U.S. side and holding back Chinese industries groundlessly. Such moves of the United States disrupts a stable global supply and industrial chain, holds back the development of semiconductor industry of all countries, and will benefit no one. We urge the U.S. to correct its wrongdoings at an early date, work under the guidance of the important common understandings between the two presidents, resolve each other's concerns based on equality, respect, mutual benefit, and through dialogue to handle differences properly and safeguards the steady, sound, and sustainable development of China-U.S. relations. If the U.S. holds on to this measure, China will take firm actions to safeguard its own legitimate rights and interests. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。中新社记者提问：据日媒报道
，It is reported by Japanese media that yesterday radioactive water leaked at the Fugen nuclear reactor in Tsuruga, Fukui Prefecture, which is undergoing decommissioning. Japan's nuclear regulation authority said that the water contains a high amount of radioactive substances and several might have been exposed to radiation, was China's comment. The latest incident once again exposed serious deficiency in the maintenance, safety, and operation of Japan's nuclear facilities. Recent months have seen a number of safety incidents involving nuclear facility in Japan, which have raised serious concerns, including the forgery of quality control of radiation detection devices at Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant and overflow of water from the spent fuel pool at the nuclear waste treatment plant in the Fukushima village, to name just a few. Despite many problems that exist with regard to the nuclear facilities, such as their dysfunction, chaotic management, ineffective supervision, the Japanese side still decided to restart the Kashiwazaki-Kariwa nuclear power plant that once experienced water overflow from the spent fuel pool. This decision is met by opposition and protests from the Japanese people. China urges the Japanese side to fully learn the lessons of the Fukushima nuclear accident, fulfill its responsibility on nuclear safety, provide a timely explanation of the incident, and address it, properly handle the decommissioning of nuclear power plants and treatment of radioactive waste, and receive international oversight, so as to alleviate concerns of the world. This incident again highlighted the need for the international community to further step up all-around oversight of the Fukushima nuclear contaminated water and the operation of the equipment and facilities in order to protect the marine environment. Next one, please.
发言人好，中国日报记者提问。近日向联合国秘书长
China Daily, it's reported that China recently deposited with the UN Secretary-General the instrument of ratification of the Marine Biodiversity Treaty, or BBNG agreement. Can you share the background and China's considerations? The BBNG agreement, an international convention under the framework of the UN, was adopted by consensus of over 190 countries after 19 years of negotiation, and represents a milestone of international laws on the sea. The agreement aims at promoting sustainable development of the ocean through preserving marine ecology, encouraging green transition in countries' deep sea and ocean activities, and helping to implement the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It bears great significance to advancing global marine environment and upholding a just and equitable international order at sea. China implements the Xi Jinping thought on ecological civilization and the 4 major global initiatives. As a major country in terms of deep sea and ocean activities, China attaches great importance to the protection of marine environments and has been deeply involved in the negotiations for the agreement and made important contribution to its conclusion. China signed the agreement on the first day when it was opened for signature, one of the first countries to do so. China also deposited with the UN Secretary-General the instrument of ratification before the agreement entered into force. This demonstrates China's sense of responsibility as a major country, and this will also help encourage extensive participation in the agreement and safeguard the common well-being of humanity. China stands ready to work with all parties to support the full, accurate, and effective implementation of the agreement, protect and develop well our blue home, and promote the building of a community with a shared future for humanity.